Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to learn a lot today about something that can really make a difference in your life. I know it's a little woo-woo, put that alert out there in advance. But once you start realizing the benefits of this one thing, and it's not a concept, it's a materialistic thing, things change. It's interesting how crystals do that. Why? What's going on there? We're going to talk with somebody who is a spiritual coach, has lots of experience helping people make the shift. And essentially, that's the name of her practice. Tracy Nagle is back with us. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Steve, how are you? So good to be back.
So good to have you here. Crystals, I know a little bit. I just know enough to know that they support you. There's different types, things you should carry with you. You know what? Even before we begin, what's your go-to crystal?
Clear quartz, clear quartz or amethyst is what I'm going to be holding on me.
Hmm. Uh, yes. And
Yes?
I have this. I'm gonna reach up here and get it. And I'm pretty sure it's a darker amethyst, and I'm probably not going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Its colors
Yeah,
have sometimes a
absolutely.
focus, but it is. I'm pretty sure this is an amethyst, and I don't even remember where I got this from. Somebody gave it to me, and I've held on to it. Um,
So why do
let's.
you think that is? Why do you think you've held on to it? Do you feel drawn to it perhaps? Or do you feel a certain kind of way if you hold it or touch it?
I do. It's
Okay.
it's one of those things I can't part with it, and
Right.
it hangs here in the studio, and that's where I grabbed it from,
And I
and
see
it's
your
just.
beads. You wear beads too.
I do. I have a whole bunch, and every single one means something. Obviously, these are the chakras. This
Yeah.
is some stone that somebody gave me. I don't even know what it is, but I'm drawn to it. I love the way it looks and fits. This bracelet was given to me by a coworker. My gosh, like 8 years ago. It hasn't fallen off, and I'm not taking it off. Um, I know I'm getting personal here. This band was given to me before I went to a men's retreat, and it was given to me by some of the men who said, if it's challenging, hold on to this. And it was a little bit
Yeah.
challenging. This was given to me by my twin sister during our birthday a couple of months ago. And this is just a bracelet I got in the Bahamas. I took a vacation with my daughter 2 years ago. Hasn't come off. So my thing is, there's a reason these things
Right.
hang with you. And
It's
to your
very
point, they resonate. When I go to a crystal store, somebody told me when you want to make a selection, you put your hand over them and you feel what draws you in. You,
100%.
yeah,
Absolutely.
okay,
You're kind of
wow,
innately drawn to it. It's really comes from within as well. And something I recently learned is certain crystals can actually be too powerful for you. So
wow.
you would notice if you feel off kilter. So if you hold a more powerful crystal in your hand and you sort of feel off kilter, you that might be too powerful. You move on to another one. I think generally speaking, for a beginner, if you are just into, wanting to play with crystals or hold on to them, quartz or amethyst or rose quartz are going to be really, really
Mm,
good beginner go-to crystals. They're feel-good crystals. They're kind of like general great energy crystals for you. But so much more depth behind crystals. And I learned a little bit, but there's an incredible amount of science behind why crystals work for you. So
love
that
it.
is something that I wanted to touch on a little bit today. I mean, I don't want to say that I am completely, fluent in this by any means, but it was fascinating, absolutely fascinating what I learned.
Please tell us.
All right. So what I heard, this was a TikTok video, a gentleman, a lovely gentleman, a scientist. All right. This is not typically where we're used to hearing, people chime in the spiritual world, right? A scientist. So what he was talking about was how we have these crystals in our body. And I think a lot of people mostly know you have crystals perhaps in your inner ear. Like if you get dizzy or if you have vertigo, that's typically a sign that your crystals in your inner ear are off or out of alignment. What I didn't know is how many crystals there are actually throughout our bodies and
Mm,
how these crystals collect information and send out signals. And also, they create meridian lines. They create meridian lines throughout our body. And you mentioned your chakra bracelet. Here's the crazy part. These meridian lines inside our body all cross at the exact points of our chakras, all seven chakras. The chakras are real. They are very, very real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, I've heard about the crystals in your body only in the last, few months. And that's where it sealed the deal for me. I always believed in crystals. There's something there. Don't know what it is. Now I get the connection. Why we are connected to them.
Yeah, we are absolutely connected to them. So if you do go into like a crystal store or something like that and you're checking out bracelets, I know friends want to buy these for you, and there's nothing wrong with a friend buying a bracelet for you. Maybe they feel pulled towards it, or they know that you're perhaps going through something and know a particular stone might be good for your, whatever you're going through. But for choosing your own stones, you're exactly right. Go into the store and just feel your way around. It's already going to be a feel good experience in the store, by itself. They're just
Wow.
generally super high vibration places. So
Mm. It's not about me. Can I share a story about crystals?
absolutely.
And I think this just illustrates the magic of what is going on in the power of them. I'll laser this down. 2 years ago, my daughter had to go to the hospital. Um, some fairly serious, and they valet park. So in my pocket, I had rose quartz, and I
Hmm.
also had one hanging from my rearview mirror. I had taken a trip, saw a friend in a few other states away, and he's into that kind of stuff. So we walked into a store and I bought them. As the guy is valet parking, he says, "Oh man, I love it. Thank you so much. That's a great idea." I'm like, he must have been like 22. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You just gave me an idea. That rose quartz hanging from your rear view. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get one. I'm going to do that." I'm like, "Wow, okay." I reach into my pocket. I just had one left over from the trip and I gave it to him.
Very good.
There's more to the story, and I'll make this very quick.
Okay.
My mom's name was Rose. She passed away now 5 years ago. In the hospital, they told me, "We don't have any space for your daughter. She's going to just have to be in this area. By the way, just not the best spot for her. We don't have a room. We have nothing for her." And I said a little prayer. I said, "Mom, can you do something? Can you help us out here? This is just not a good situation." 30 minutes later, nurse walks out and says, "We got something for you. It's all good." I'm like, "Thank you." Final part of this whole story is the nurse assigned to my daughter, her
Her
name
name
was
was Rose.
Rose, and her last name was my mom's name, exact
That's
name. And then fast forward, my daughter's in the hospital. I'm seeing her, and I said, "Yeah, how's it going?" She goes, "Yeah, this lady's always around. She's so great and everything." Woman walks by, and her name is Rose. It wasn't even the nurse; it was another Rose. So
that's insane.
like the rose quartz, I think that was almost like the springboard of this magical stuff. In the end, it all worked out well. That nurse took Rose took care, and the other Rose took care of my daughter. She got a room and all of that.
Oh,
Can't
fantastic.
make that up. You can't make
You
that up.
can't. And that's the signs that you kind of have to look for and lean into,
Yeah.
because it was like almost validation for you that she was there. She was there watching,
Oh yeah.
being there with you. And that is the things that really sometimes, people need to have that, or, you need to lean into that or open your mind to that, because if you aren't willing to open to your mind to those little signs, you're never going to get the big hits. You have to be
Yeah.
willing to open your mind to little hits.
I'm a firm believer in that, and I get many signs from my mom, and we're just going to add very specific. I'm skeptical, very
Right.
specific. It has taught me to look for the signs because we're all so busy, so much going on. The crystals that you have in uh, the center console of your car, they could be making a difference in your life, but you haven't even seen the signs of it because you're not looking.
Ab- Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there is just so many ways for people to, again, it's good to have a healthy dose of skepticism, right? I don't think that anything should go without being questioned. That's part of this whole situation, just with life in general. Question everything, check into things. It may resonate with you, it may not. But I'm glad that it seems to be coming more to the forefront now. I feel like there is a whole collective of people that have recently gone through this shift. And I feel like this is definitely definitely coming more to the forefront, becoming more mainstream again.
Hmm. Tell
Maybe
us more
not like
about
it
it.
was back in the day.
Well, okay, to your point, Tracy, becoming mainstream. Check this out. Oxford Dictionary has chosen their word of the year. This is based on usage and vibes and trends and everything. You know what it is? Manifest.
Really?
Yeah, that's the word of
That's
the
an
year.
excellent word.
Yeah. So to me, that says that our consciousness is open to this thing called spirituality, of which we're talking about today.
Right.
Enlighten us, crystals, little tips, little tricks, things you know. What can you share?
Right. Now, manifesting, I'm glad that you brought that up because that is a huge part. If you're a newbie or you're beginning, like you're going to see signs and synchronicities, but the next steps is really going to be about manifesting. Practicing gratitude, that's over here. Manifesting is a whole other animal, right? This is where you're shattering your limiting beliefs. This is where you're working on things to manifest your abundance, manifest your life. Literally, if you can conjure it up, you can make it happen. You have to believe this, and that is where I come in. That is where I'm going to come in and help you harness this. I'm going to help you shatter these limiting beliefs because believe me, that is one thing that stops people in their tracks. Their limiting beliefs. They're terrified to move forward, not sure about this or that. They're afraid of what people are going to say, maybe. Like this is woo woo. I don't know if my family is going to be cool with me talking about this. But manifesting, believe me, that is something that you want to work on. That is something that I'm going to have some training on for people. This is about creating a life for yourself and manifesting what you want in your life and by visualizing. So there's a lot to go on there.
Mm. In terms of crystals themselves, what can you what can you tell us? Any other insight, things that like all right, should we be recharging them on the windowsill with the
Totally.
moonlight?
Well, full moon specifically,
Full
that's
moon.
what I do at the full moon. So yes, there's a lot of energy that brings them into the full moons. So crystals for sure. You can put out tarot cards, you can put out crystals, you can put out anything that you consider spiritual. Say you have a
Oh,
little yeah, anything like tarot, anything that you want recharged
wow.
by the energy for sure. So I take a little plastic bag or box and put it outside overnight and set some intention in there too, man. It's good to have them recharged. And then when you have them around you, I feel like it almost recharges your batteries too, almost like filling your bank account.
Wow. Tarot cards, I've known about them for a long time.
Yeah.
Just got into them. So bought myself a set and I didn't know you can recharge those.
You know what? I just do that. I kind of talk to
Why
decks are
not?
drawn to you. Exactly. Why not? I figure I only want things, embedded with good intention. And so I try to do that with everything now. I'm trying to really ingrain a good intention with everything, but recharging crystals is really good practice. Recharging tarots or cleansing things is really good practice. And that's another thing, like charge or crystals are going to come at you. You are going to want to cleanse off any potential bad vibrations that may have come in contact with them, right? So you never know who has touched something that you're going to pick up, especially something as a crystal that you could possibly use for your own personal healing, right?
Sure.
So I'm not saying that it could be a bad vibration, but there could be many vibrations associated with that crystal. So I think that when you do get one or any kind of crystals, I think it's even before putting it out, you're not going to get a full moon right away, right? So I think it's a good thing to charge them yourself. So you don't have to have any spirituality behind you. Just sit there with good intentions and hold them in your hands and say, I really want to cleanse these of anything bad. I really want to, infuse these with good positive intentions. And I think that it just becomes part of you, like I always keep mine in my pocket or my purse. And I think you should pay attention sometimes too about what pocket you have them in, because sometimes it's for receiving energy and sometimes it's for releasing energy.
Wow. Didn't even
So
think about that.
yeah, you never know, right? There becomes more rules, right, as you get involved. You
Hmm.
don't have to worry about these things. If you're just a beginner with crystals, just having them near you is enough. Like I said, cleansing them and keeping good intentions around them, finding what crystal resonates with you. There's so many to choose from out there. There's tri bracelets out there, meaning somebody out there is going to put together a collection of crystals that are going to have more than one way to help energize you, cleanse you, or be a mute button for not so friendly people. I think we kind of need those, and I think that might be one of the stones you were talking about, a darker stone. Did you say something about a darker stone, like obsidian, maybe?
That might be the one that's on my bracelet, which
It could be.
is darker. Um,
It's powerful. Obsidian or tourmaline is going to be a more powerful stone.
I don't know what this is. It's just dark.
It looks like obsidian or tourmaline, so it's a pretty powerful stone.
Really.
And that might be too powerful for some people.
I haven't noticed any negative effects, but what is it like trial and error? Take it off for a week, 2 days, three, whatever. See how
Yeah.
you feel. Is that reasonable?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's really gonna how you're gonna know too if maybe something's working for you. So what if you get a crystal that maybe isn't right for you and you feel a little bit off? Maybe you have a little bit of a headache or you're not feeling right, or you could have
Mm,
aches and pains. Craziness like that can kind of join in when you have these things when your body isn't in alignment. And I think that's what we're all ultimately trying to do is come into alignment with ourselves using crystals, using manifestation, using vibration, using any of these tools that are out there to help us keep moving forward. There's so many spiritual tools out there at our disposal. Not everything is going to work for everybody. Tarot might be a little bit left field for some people.
sure.
So Reiki might be a little bit more for you and not worrying about someone reading your future. So again, there's just so much out there for us to use and to talk about, and it can get a little bit weird sometimes. I
Oh
get
yeah,
it.
yeah. But should be open to it. Like all of those things you mentioned, I do fairly regular basis. I want to show this to you. Selenite. I don't know if you're familiar.
Okay, not really, but I know a
I've
little bit.
heard I've heard that this can charge other crystals.
That's Well, that makes sense now. It's almost like a little battery, right? So it can charge other crystals. So it's like a source of energy. So
Yeah.
it's good to have these things near you. And I think it's great that you have them in your studio with you. It can have calming effects on you, a lot, just a lot of good things, good vibrations.
And that's what it's all about. But I could reach up there. I have like a half a handful of stones. I got them a couple of months ago. I don't even remember what I got. I don't even know what they do. I get to a point where my mind gets overloaded and I forget things. I just that kind of stuff. I could never be a doctor. I could never remember the name of medicines
No, I
ever.
totally understand. And some of these stones, I'm like, who named these stones?
Right.
Right. So fortunately, there's a lot of cool apps out there and rock identifiers to help you with these
Ooh,
things.
ooh.
So yeah, there's a lot of neat tools out there to help you identify them. And I mean, hey, just watch for fakes. There's a lot of fake rocks out there as well. But I think that if you genuinely go into a crystal shop or something, you're going to find absolutely legit crystals. Find them, and again, like you feel some kind of way about getting rid of them. It's funny, you don't even have to be spiritual, and you still feel connected to them and you feel like it would be possibly wrong somehow, maybe to get rid of it, right? It's not just a regular rock. It's not just a regular stone. So, not only are they beautiful, but there's something about them that says, hey, I'm going to hold on to this. There's something about this that's kind of talking to me or resonating, or I feel some kind of way. So I
Yeah.
just like that you have them. I like that other people have them. Maybe you don't have to know. That's fine.
I think it also comes down to opening your mind and being aware of it because you could be holding a stone. Again, you could be in the crystal store, you're running your hand over the top of the same type of stones. They're all the same. And
Absolutely.
but you're not going to feel it unless you open your mind. And we got so much stuff going on around us. It's hard to focus on those things.
It truly is. And I was actually trying to practice something yesterday to have tons of like distraction around me and try to focus. And I was like, this is actually harder than I thought. So I can see when people walk into a place, it may not just jump out of you. Try and try again. Keep at it. If you're interested, that's half the battle. Just keep trying. And, it's going to come to you. Things are going to come to you. You're going to start to learn more. Once you lean into anything, of course, there's the wonderful algorithms of Facebook and Instagram and whatnot, and you touch on something and suddenly all those things start to pop up, right? That's just also another good way to learn. Those things they're gonna show you a whole different community out there. So there are ways for you to learn, jump on board, follow me, like the shift. There's so many people out there to talk to. If crystals aren't your thing, or if Reiki isn't your thing, there is a million ways to join the spiritual community. Just have fun. The water's warm. Sit back and watch us. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Just sit back and watch the people. It's a great group of people.
Would you say that the definition of spiritualism is believing in something that's bigger than you?
100%. And you will find very quickly that there is so much out there. Believing in more, you're going to hear it, you're going to see it, you're going to find it with ease. Things are going to fall into your lap. As soon as you open that door, I think that a flood is going to start to come into you.
It's really exciting, isn't it?
It's very exciting. It's absolutely exciting. Again, there's so much to know. There's so much to know. It's hard to kind of cliff note everything and put it into one little thing for you. I think that's why there's so much out there for people. We have courses to help you along the way. We have YouTube channel group calls and whatnot to help you along the way. But really, it's about wanting to learn, wanting to join into the community, knowing that there is something out there, having the curiosity to pick around and nose around and ask questions. People
Mm.
want to answer your questions. I want to answer questions. Anything that I can answer, I will. And if I don't, I'm going to help figure it out with you.
I've seen that a lot of people who practice these type of modalities, spiritualism, metaphysical, and all that, have this thirst to learn more. Once you start, it's like, give me more. I need to learn more. I want to help people more, more, more. You find that you
Yeah, I became ravenous for the past few years. I
ravenous.
became
It's
ravenous.
a great
Yes.
word.
Yeah,
Mm.
I became ravenous. I started reading everything that I could. And there's never ending. There's just a never ending stream of information out there for you, a never ending community. And I'm telling you, this is the nicest darn community I have ever been involved in my life. The nicest, most welcoming, lovely, positive people I have ever been involved with in my life.
Mm.
Yep, it's an amazing step forward to me.
It's exciting when you learn little things like you just mentioned about tarot cards. You know,
Yeah,
put them on your windowsill and let the moon recharge them. All right.
absolutely.
Wow. Or why not? I didn't even think of it. What, going to do any harm? No. So why not? If anything, it's energy coming down. One would think that it will revitalize those cards, maybe whatever. But I never even thought of that until you said it. And a bunch of the other things that you mentioned today. I appreciate. How do we find you, Tracy? If somebody wants to learn more about this, crystals, spiritualism, making transformations, how do they do that?
Yep, you're going to find me on Facebook. You're going to find me on Instagram and TikTok. Facebook is going to be the Shift Spiritual Coaching, and TikTok and Instagram are going to be the Shift dot Spiritual Coach.
It's a great word. The other night, I was with a bunch of people and we were talking a little deep like this. And I said, I feel there is a shift going on. We are shifting. You feel that?
100%. Yeah, we are. We totally are. And I think that if you do go online and if you're involved with it, with this community, you're going to see that everybody is on the same page. There is a group of people that are on the same page that, something kind of happened here. And so join in. There has been a massive shift. And we just entered the age of Aquarius, whole other world of astrology that
Yeah.
is still way above my head. Astrology is so complex and amazing.
Yeah.
We've
Well,
entered a new 20-year cycle. It's going to be wild.
yeah. And long time coming and will take a long time to get there. And when I first heard that a couple of years ago, I thought, wait a minute, Age of Aquarius. Um, there was a song, 1969,
Yeah.
and it was by the Fifth Dimension. And that's where it said, where you ultimately want to be. We're in the third right now, most of us. Some
Correct.
of us have crossed a little bit over to the fourth. The
Yep.
fifth is you just feel love. It's all good. It's amazing. Yeah.
That's right.
Oof. So
Steve,
much to
I
talk
am
about.
impressed. I am impressed that you know about 5D. That's awesome.
I've been studying, and oh, by the way, 3 days away from the Mercury retrograde. Strap in.
I'm impressed, Steve. You
Yeah.
you pay attention for sure.
Well,
Yeah, there's a lot going on, right? There's been a lot happening lately. So if people are feeling some kind of way, there's just been collectively in the universe, there's been a lot happening.
a lot happening. Yeah, and you're not alone. We're all feeling different things. I got personal stuff. Like wow, look at that. That's weird. In the past, I would freak out over some of those things, and now I'm like, all right, just ride the wave. Or on to the next thing.
Absolutely.
On to the next thing. Tracy, wonderful talking with you today. Learned a
Me
lot,
too.
and I appreciate it. Look forward next time we get together.
Thanks, Steve. You as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.